You know, you could walk around with regrets. You could walk around thinking like, oh my God, why I didn't do it this way? Why didn't I make a left when I made a right? Vice versa. But at the end of the day, you're wasting time. You was never going to make a left when you made that right. You was always going to make that right no matter what. That was the only way to go. If all else fails, even if you don't really wholeheartedly believe what I'm telling you, of this being, that being the only route you could have taken, at the very least, it gives you some solace and some peace. It gives you some perspective that makes you feel like, all right, it is what it is. Who in here right now watching, or who in general, whenever I post this up, who really want to walk around saying, oh my God, I regret this. I wish I did it this way. It's all good, IKD. It's all good. It's all good. No worries. Who want to walk around with regrets? Who want to walk around saying, God, oh, no, I should have. Nobody. And while we're at it real quick, I just want to throw this in before we talk. I got a couple things I want to talk about today. Got a big reveal. Got a big reveal coming later on in the stream. Right now you see my footsteps, but you're going to see me in a little bit. I got something to say. But one of the things I wanted to say is pride, right? Pride, they say, or it was written, pride comes before the fall. And a lot of people, they walk around with pride. They don't want to, they stuck in their ways because, not even they stuck in their ways, they don't want to maneuver out of their ways because of their pride. And that right there, like I said, pride came before the fall. That right there messes people up and destroys them so badly when you don't even got to go that route. But unfortunately, because some people, they be stuck so hardcore in their prideful ways, the only choice is to fall. And ain't it kind of crazy, right? Because, pride came before the fall. Just look at it like this, bro. If this don't boggle your mind for the prideful people out there that may be watching, Pride Month is what? June, right? When does fall start? When does fall start? September. What season starts in September? Fall. Maybe October. I don't know. Either way. Point being is that it's even right there in your face. Literally, you be prideful in June, and by September, October, your dumb ass be falling. And trust me, talking about pride, I've had my fair share. I've had it. Took me a lot. So I don't fault people. I don't look at people like I'm better than you because I had to stumble a lot. I had to trip a lot. I had to get my head busted, metaphorically, in order to understand the error of my ways, mate. The folly of my ways. I had to, you know what I'm saying? It had to happen to me in order to understand because I was too prideful. And I hate that. I hate that for my people that they're genuinely, there's so much potential and so much, they got a good heart. And shout out to my brother Max Powers in the building. Metro ain't here, okay? And I ain't Metro. Which quickly, while we're on the topic, and I don't know, I don't even feel like sitting right here. I'm gonna be honest with you. I might take a little more of a walk and then we come back. I don't feel like sitting right now. Oh snap, Giant B. Whatchamacallit? That K-Dot this though to Drake. I did say I wasn't gonna talk about it no more until that dropped. Yo, what's good? Hazem, what's good? That K-Dot diss to Drake. Damn. I'll be honest with you, because I've heard it, I want to say 2 or 3 times. I know there's a lot of people that they're running it back and all that stuff, and I probably will. But see, I'm not really all that into, like, I rock with a diss record here and there, but there's so much negativity, and that shit sticks onto you, Then your mindset starts, you start feeling like you're looking for a problem. After a while, you run back a disrespectful record so much. So me personally, I don't really like to listen to diss records all that much. But from the few times that I did hear it, there was a couple of notes that I took, a couple mental notes that I was rocking with. Man stealing bars, that's not the flex. We'll talk about that. There was a couple of things that I took note that I was really rocking with. For starters, I can do nothing but respect and appreciate a man that brings morals, values, and some godly talk into a diss in a positive way. Towards the end, when Dot starts talking about, I got kids to raise, but you don't know nothing about that. Yo, when he talks about teaching my kid to pray, but you don't know nothing about that. I'm like, yo, man's is teaching, man's is giving real life game in the middle of spanking, homie. Pause on that. How can I not respect that? How can anybody not respect that? But you know, a diss record can be very, very nasty. We've heard Hit 'Em Up. We've heard No Vaseline. We've heard Checkmate. Shout out Jadakiss. Ain't no Kendrick hater here, homie. I don't know what you're talking about. Ain't no Kendrick hater here. But point being is, a diss record can be the most disgusting thing. You know what I'm saying? I've heard some of the most vile stuff in a diss record. So for him to take time out for God in the middle of all that, somebody please praise Kendrick real quick. Matter of fact, let me do it. Shout outs to Kung Fu Kenny for that. Shout outs, because honestly, Drake has been, being the most petty. He had me listening to some of that shit being like, God damn, dog. Kendrick for being a hypocrite and starting beef out of nowhere, then trying to be spiritual. Was he starting a beef out of nowhere? Or did Drake and Cole put out that first-person shooter stuff? And let's be very clear. Let's not play around here. Let's not play around here. Let's not fiddle-daddle on the BS and act like Drake don't be with the utmost methodical, subliminal stuff in the world. Let's be real. Let's be real. Six Eyes God. Let's be real. We seen what Drake did, the disgusting shit he did at the end of the, what happened with X. Rest in peace, XXXTentacion. We seen the disgusting stuff that he's done. So let's not act like he ain't been wanting it for a minute. Let's not act like he ain't been baiting Dot for a minute. Dot took it up a notch, quite a few notches with the Like That record. And I'm gonna be real with you. Like That record, I guess, is a cool turn-up record for the people that like to turn up and all that stuff. Yeah. But I ain't even a big fan of that. It's cool when it plays on the radio. I'll cut it on. I'll listen mainly for Dot's verse. I'm not big up on Future. Shout out to all them, do whatever, all that jazz. But that's not my cup of tea. But when Dot comes on, I'm like, yo, play the Big Stepper real quick. Play Mr. Morale while he's putting his morale to the side for a moment. Kenny started this shit with the Control verse. Well, now we're talking about what? 11 years ago? Which I'm not a big fan of. That whole bringing people's stuff back from like a million years ago for this, that, and the third. Like I be sometimes, which that's why I never like to be on like Twitter and stuff like that. But when I do, like I see like, well, look at this picture of Drake when he was a teenager. Who gives a you know what I'm saying? When he was a teenager, he's different than a man. So I don't like that stuff of like, alright, Dot said something 11 years ago. Drake was taking Zesty. Well, Drake's still behind. I'm just all jokes here. I'm not a fan of accountability, I see. I'm absolutely a fan of accountability. I own up to my shit. I've done my fair share of dumb shit in my life. So by no means am I trying to cop a plea for Dot and the stuff that he did. Yeah, he definitely went out. He went out wilding out. But Drake come on now. Let's not act like Drake is innocent and Drake hasn't been little here and there throwing darts. Let's not act like he ain't been throwing darts for years. Come on now. If we're talking about accountability, let's be all the way with accountability. Drake been for years. And Dot was like, all right, let me show you why we on that West Coast. Which, yo, I love seeing the West Coast unity too. I love seeing the West Coast unity, seeing all the West Coast artists from problem. Everybody just like, yeah, baby, it's West Coast. I love it. I love it. I love it. Drake is the Hokage of Toronto. Kendrick is a B-ranked ninja at best. All right, let's stop that. Drake is the Hokage. No, Drake is definitely the Hokage of Toronto. Drake is the god of Toronto when it comes to hip-hop. When it comes to pretty much music. Outside of Drake, who is on that level other than like Bieber, Justin Bieber? Literally, Drake is Canada music, pretty much. So let's not get it twisted. But also, let's not put down Kendrick neither. Because literally, Kendrick has been holding the West Coast on his back ever since pretty much, I would say he took the crown after Game. After Game pretty much kind of was starting, I don't want to say dying down because, I've been a Game fan for a long time too. But after like Game, kind of his time, he had to pass on the baton, so to speak. Kendrick been holding it down for the West Coast. And shout out to the artists that have come since Kendrick. YG has done his thing. Of course, rest in peace to the legend, the king, the god, Nipsey Hussle. All of these artists that have done their thing. But Kendrick has held it down as one of the top prominent lyricists too. Kendrick is not just, Kendrick is just that dude, man. Point blank, period. He checks all the boxes. He's giving you mainstream hits with messages in them. He's giving you lyricism. He's shown that he's battle ready. What more do you want from him? How can you call him, and I know you just trolling Max, but just for the sake of argument, how can you call him a B rank when literally for the last how many years they've been saying the big three is Kendrick, Cole, and Drake? Come on now. Which is interesting too, right? On another side note, where's New York in that? It's always been like, hip hop started in New York, but New York hasn't been like, bro, we had 6ix9ine for a minute. That was the closest thing New York has had to having somebody that is like prominent in the game or whatnot. But as far as like a top tier lyricist or something, New York hasn't had it since like, I want to say since 50 Cent. 50 Cent was the last. 50 Cent and G-Unit, because Lloyd Banks, part of G-Unit. Shout out Lloyd Banks, massive Lloyd Banks fan. But New York has not been on the scene in a long time as far as being in the conversation. Cole is from Charlotte, North Carolina. I think Charlotte, North Carolina. Kendrick is from Compton, California. And Drake is from Canada, Toronto. Where is New York? Kendrick struggling to get past the infinity. Bro, it's unanimous. Everybody is, outside of people that are cool with Drake, it's unanimous. Everybody's saying that Kendrick took round one. K. Dot is, he will be forgotten about right now. MJ hasn't been forgotten. K. Dot is not a dead zombie. You wildin'. Dot is literally, and it's still, and I've said it before, I'll say it again. It still really upsets me the way people treat Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers as if that isn't one of the greatest albums in the last decade. Because it is. Literally, it's mature music. But, I mean, we've seen what hip-hop does, which I hate this. But look at Eminem. He drops Revival, arguably one of his best albums. One of his mature albums. One of the albums that can actually help people. And, you know what I'm saying? The people tore that apart. Great music to actually do good. Talking about police brutality on black people. Talking about so many things that was in the album. But people want to talk about, he has Pink on the album. As if Eminem ain't been rocking with Pink for the last 20 years. But every time a hip-hop artist attempts to make an album that is actually going to help humanity, here we go. Oh my God. It's garbage. It's terrible. Nah, dog. Don't heal people. Don't help people. Talk about killing more black people. That's what we need right now, bro. Bro. I'm sorry. I could go off on a tangent because I hate that about. And it's not even really about hip hop, because it's more so just the way the masses are programmed to think. It's just the way the masses are programmed to think. It's like anything that is good for you is bad. What's ultra bad for you, like lean rap and all that. Nah, that's what we need, man. NY has felt like an underground rap scene for so long. Yeah. Unfortunately, there was Pop Smoke, but the whole Pop Smoke thing is just more tragic. New York has had one big, outside of 6ix9ine, or since 6ix9ine, we've had Pop Smoke, which was an artist that blew up after his death, after he was murdered. Rest in peace, Pop Smoke. But hip hop, you know what I'm saying? The masses love that. Tim already did give an example when Drake was giving subliminal message through his music. Thank you, brother. Thank you. Don't forget the Weeknd. He outsells Drake. Oh shoot, my fault. I mean, I'm not the biggest Weeknd fan. Salute to the Weeknd. Mainly, a lot of it is more of a personal thing, and not personal against him. Mainly, just like I got a lot of memories of some of his music. I don't like to listen to it because of those memories. So nothing to do with him. But yeah, shout outs to the Weeknd. He's big in Canada as well. No shade, no hate, no nothing. Kush Authority, nah fam what? Jay-Z is New York's king, potentially. For me, I have a bias. I grew up with G-Unit being like the top dogs. For me, 50 Cent will always be, outside of Big Papa, Notorious B.I.G., Biggie Smalls, 50 Cent will always be, in my eyes, the king of New York. He was the first person I ever heard, first rapper I ever heard to say I'm the king of New York. I didn't, until after the fact, find out, oh, mind you, I'm only 33 years old, you know what I'm saying? I'm not, you know what I'm saying? So I didn't really know about King of New York, nothing, until after hearing 50 Cent claim that he was King of New York, and then he dropped that I Run New York when he was going at it with Game and literally like 75% of New York. And by no means am I saying like, yo, yeah, 50, like I understand very clearly that 50 Cent is a very, very toxic artist, very toxic in general. So I'm not trying to say anything other than, for me, he was always king of New York. This, what was it, the final lap tour that he just went on, which I attended, and that was, oh my God, one of my favorite concerts, bro. Oh, the memories, bro. Shout out to 50 Cent. Weeknd is a clown. Well, you did say that you felt that Weeknd was a part of like orchestrating this whole thing with Drake, right, Max? Chris Brown went ham though. I still ain't hear it. Like I said, I try not to indulge in it. K-Dot is different. I'm a big Dot fan. I love Dot. I love his music. So I'm going to check it out. And obviously, the boy, Drake. You know, of course, you can't escape that. But, like, even the Rick Ross stuff. I heard a couple of lines on the Rick Ross stuff, but I don't want to hear that, man. Like, it's one thing if it's, like, a friendly spar. Or it's one thing if it's, like, yo, it's not really that serious. But knowing that some of this, at the very least, is being portrayed as serious. And even if it's not serious, let's just say, hypothetically speaking, right now, Kendrick, Cole, and Drake are on a three-way call laughing about it and they're best friends or whatever. That don't mean that their crews are aware of it, and that don't mean that the fans, more importantly, are aware of it, which could lead to some dumb shit. Now, I'm not saying necessarily because, at the very least, Kendrick, for the most part, and Cole, their fan bases are kind of like, I don't want to say all of them, I don't want to be, generalize it, but their fan bases are on the more mature side, you would think. But Drake has such a huge fan base. You don't know what could happen. So it's like, Kenny forfeited the first round for time he started round 2 of Euphoria. He let Kanye and Rose battle for him in round 1. He ain't let them. Rose came through with the champagne to, you know what I'm saying? And the racism. And Kanye just was like, yo, hey, I'm selling some new Yeezy stuff or whatever he's calling it nowadays. Let me just jump in this to promote some whatever. Like, let's be real about some of this stuff. Come on. Hasn't Pink hit legend status? Oh, God, of course. But with hip-hop, people aren't really going to respect Pink because it's hip-hop. It's just the way it is. The same way they're not going to respect, or they didn't. I don't want to say they're not because there's still, anything can happen, but they didn't respect, what's Shorty's name? The fancy girl. Is it Iggy Azalea? They didn't respect her either. Pink is a legend. Although I do think that there will come a day. There will absolutely come a day where a white female MC will gain some sort of notoriety in hip-hop. I could see it. The problem is that M's effort in exploring the themes is corny. He doesn't say anything new, just recycles platitudes. That's a fair point. I'm not going to argue on that one. That's a fair point. I would say that there was some stuff that, okay, maybe it's not new, right? Just like you could say the same thing about some of the lines that K-Dot had for Drake. Maybe it wasn't all new disses. And that's a bad example because it's just disses compared to, like, bringing awareness. Like, maybe Eminem, because of his reach, reached a lot more people in the suburbs and globally that wouldn't have known about these things or wouldn't have cared about these things that are going on, the brutality towards black people, a lot of different things, if Eminem didn't lend his voice to the cause. So maybe it's not new, but it's still something very powerful. Castle and A Rose are some of my best songs. I love those songs, man. Woof. Bring tears to my eyes, some of those songs. Oh man, it sucks when certain music reminds you of certain times. Yeah. It could go the other way as well. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to only glass half empty. You know, sometimes some music reminds, oh my God, that time was so lit. We got to do something like that. But for me, there's some, you know what I'm saying? I've had a wild life thus far. For me, it's 52, but I can take any of those options. You're talking about King of New York, and I might be backed up on Common, so my fault. Kamikaze had some joints. I really liked Kamikaze. I think when Kamikaze dropped, I was in the last stages of recording My Beautiful Hell. I remember I'd be coming, like I want to say I was driving from Cleveland back to Columbus, and I was like listening to Kamikaze like all the way back, I want to say. Cole low-key made the smartest play dropping out early. He did, because it's getting messy, it's getting nasty, and at the end of the day, maybe Cole don't want to be seen in that light. So everybody that booed Cole and was dissing on Cole and saying he's a joke and all this other stuff that people were coming out and attacking Cole is starting to look more and more with time, with allowing homie to do his thing, that Cole was right. Cole was absolutely right in what he did. Nah, Cole's street cred is gone. When did Cole have street cred? When did J. Cole have street cred? Come on now. And I'm not saying that in a disrespectful light. I'm saying that he's never been a street guy. He never rapped about none of that stuff. Cole raps like, you know, music for the soul type of deal. So, okay, his street cred that really wasn't existing is gone. I don't think that really affects him. In fact, I think a lot of people, as time goes on, are going to look back and be like, maybe Cole might be the winner of all this. I don't know. Yeah, Chris does not like Quavo. That could evolve to hands. Hopefully not. Yeah, Chris Brown, bro. That is somebody you don't want to get on his bad side, homie. Chris Brown will put the beats on a dude quick. M also been in the game 20 plus years, so it's going to happen. There's no such thing as completely original. Yeah. Why is everyone dissing each other right now anyway? I'm going to keep it all the way real. Hip-hop is in a really bad state. I mean, it's been in a bad state for a hot minute. Like, yo, where's the real rap at? You know what I'm saying? It's starting to emerge. We're starting to see some a rise in it. But them doing this for the sport of hip-hop and for the genre of hip-hop is probably one of the best things right now. Because let's look at it like this. Kendrick's like, okay, if hip-hop is pillared by these three guys, right? If Kendrick, Cole, and Drake are the pillars of hip-hop, Mr. Morale and Big Steppers, Kendrick's last album in 2022, was considered a flop and a bad album by a lot of people for all the things we just talked about. So one of the big three, people are saying it's over for him, nobody cares, oh, you know, they're clowning, all of that other stuff. Drake, I want to say the album that he dropped that year, the Nevermind album, sold less than Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers' first week. And then on top of that, he's kind of just been collabing with like 21 and all these other artists to kind of keep the flame going. But solo-wise, I think ever since Scorpion, it hasn't been as hot for Drake. I think since Scorpion, it's kind of gone down. So that's another of the big three. And then Cole, funny enough, between the three, Cole has been the one that's been rising throughout all of this. Like, I remember with the what is it? Oh, shit. I can't remember. He dropped it in 2021. Off Season. The Off Season project, that was the album where I noticed a lot of people, including major hip-hop heads, like the Joe Budden podcast, and everybody were turning around and saying, wait a second. I like this. And not that hip-hop heads wasn't liking, you know, like Forest Hill Drive and all that stuff, but that was the album where people started looking at Cole like his subject matter changed, his persona kind of changed, and then he started going on this massive run of doing all these features that was going, you know, getting hits and stuff like that. So out of the last few years, Cole is the only one that's kind of been on the rise of the three. Like Kendrick, he kind of, you know, he took a 5 or 6 year break, and then Mr. Morale wasn't received right. Drake, it ain't been the same since Scorpion, but Cole's been going up. And I say all that to say that this whole back and forth is good for a few different reasons. One is bringing back interest into hip-hop. is reminding people that this is hip-hop as far as rap. It's making people think, wait a minute, they rap in hip-hop, right? Maybe we should rap. So it's going to open more doors for upcoming MCs, actual MCs, people that are actually rapping. With shout outs to people that do the melody stuff. I love the melody stuff. I indulge in that as well from time to time. But overall, it's a great thing from that aspect. From another angle, you could look at it as things just boiled over. You could look at it as that. Because if Cole was actually initially dissing Drake with that, but it was perceived as he was dissing Dot, and all of these other things, it could just be that tensions boiled over in the midst of hip-hop not doing the greatest. Hold up. Real quick for the one time. Let me do the big reveal, and then we'll talk a little bit more, and then I'll get up out of here. Hold up. So the big reveal. It's been 15 years since I was 18 years old that I've done this. But here we go. Y'all ready? Y'all ready for this? Y'all ready for this? Hold up. As I stand alone in this hole, just waiting, practicing patience. I'm pacing, growing in one direction. Other side of me is fading, call it growth. As I exercise these demons, hint the hope. Wanna scream out loud, my angels tell me no. But I don't keep it bottled up, I let it purge. Jot my thoughts down like it was written, tell me what's the word. A lack of faith to keep you down in a tough spot. But when you tryna make it out of hole, gotta trust God. Conflicted feelings, part of me don't know what to do. Other half will tell you get the fuck up, make a move. Go for broke, you never know where it could take you. If you don't take a risk, your future self might really hate you. Remember, this is what you wanted and it's right there. Real life can run to your corner whenever life don't wanna fight fair. Eye on the prize, don't let up, giving up's a setup. If you feeling like you falling down, get up.